Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the marijuana sector. So first up is TLRY, ticker symbol TLRY. Okay, so after forming the black spinning top yesterday, that was the indecision candle after formed above the upper Bollinger Band during a strong uptrend in the gap up open with this giant climax spike, volume spike. You can see it was the largest volume bar in the history of the stock with the increasing volume pattern. This is all signals to lock in those gains, signaling the candles would likely work back into the bands. That's exactly what they did here. You can see that the candles bouncing off of EMA 8 currently at 168. Okay, so it held above that level into the close, but in after hours trading it dropped down to 161.99. So keep an eye on that 168 level tomorrow. If it closes below EMA 8 or EMA 4, that's going to be the first close below that level since down here on the 14th of August. All these candles are above the pink line. So once it closes below, that's going to be a bearish change in trend, and you could possibly see it come down here, test EMA 8 at 144, or possibly fill the gap down here. There's an unfilled gap. A drop down to EMA 13 at 124 would fill that gap. If you look at the 15-minute chart for TLRY, you could see here it had come to what's called a flex point here in between the middle Bollinger Band, the dotted purple line, and the gold line there, the 100 simple moving average. This candle right here broke below the bottom of the pattern here, and that was signaling downside risk, breaking below that 100 simple moving average. It did bounce in the close, but now it's at 161.91 in after hours trading, and that would put it below this 100 simple moving average, signaling more downside risk. Now you have the low of day on the low of each of these candles as next possible support levels down here, but it looks like what could happen. You have this 151 zone and around 157 or so will be two support levels. If this 100 simple moving average at 171 turns into resistance, what you could see is a possible work down to this 200 simple moving average at 139. Here's that unfilled gap over here. If there was a drop down here to that 300 simple moving average at 121, a drop to this green line here at just about 126 would fill that gap. Okay, let's look at GWPH. Okay, yeah, so this had a very nice move today. Closed up over 10%. You could see here it's pushing super hard. Yeah, it broke above the high close from back here in May. That was the move that we were looking for. And then, yeah, yesterday it had that big volume spike. That was your signal that people were loading. It did form that indecision candle. If you look here, it looked to me like there was an inverse head and shoulders, a left shoulder, a neckline, a right shoulder, or a left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. Here's the neckline, and then on this white candle right here, it closed above the neckline, signaling upside potential. That was also the day that it closed above that 100-day simple moving average and high close resistance, and then it's just been pushing higher ever since. Look at the huge volume. This is like record volume for the stock. So what you want to see now is you want to see it stay above this 162 level to keep pushing higher. If you look here on the monthly chart, you can see it's making new all-time highs. Back here in 2013, this is where it started trading. Now it's up here. You know, it started down here. Or you know, it's an incredible run, hitting new all-time highs this month. What you want to see is a monthly close above this candle here, and so a monthly close above the March closing price should be that signal that it wants to keep pushing higher. It is busting through that upper Bollinger Band right now, and it's trying to head to that next level. If you look here at this weekly chart for GWPH, you can see here at 66 on RSI, it has been above 70 on previous runs. So yeah, it could keep pushing higher here. It had a bullish crossover. What's going on is it's hitting the top of this channel. You can see there's a multi-year channel here, and right now it's at the top. It's hitting the ascending resistance line, and so it needs to bust above that level to head higher. If you see it trading above this like 174 up into 175, that's going to be really bullish. If you can get a weekly close above this level, that would signal more upside potential. If it stalls out here, that would be a temporary top. This is where it's topped out at before on the chart. This is the top of the channel, so it's going to need to bust through to head higher. Keep an eye, check out the volume spike. Super big volume behind behind the move. This is the largest volume day since back in 2000, or largest volume week since back in 2016. Many times volume precedes price. You could see the last time it had a similar type of volume spike was back here, and it was the start of a run. So this could be the start of a next push. We'll just have to see what happens. It has to bust through that resistance. Okay, let's look at NBEV here. Closed up 80% today. Yeah, an incredible move during the regular session. You know, it hit this 70 level on RSI, and it kept heading higher. It's up at 91 now, so it's super frothy on RSI. It's at 100 on fast dough. It has a hard time staying above 80. Many times it will pull back. You've got plus DI way up here at 70. That's extreme level. When you get above 40 on plus DI, that's extreme, and it's all the way up at 70. Check out this parabolic move. This is a serious Eiffel Tower pattern. You have multiple gaps in the chart. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps in a row, and you have a huge volume bar today. Now in after hours trading, it did break out higher. If you look at this chart, these annotations are from this day right here when it filled this small gap here, and then it ended up closing above that 300-day simple moving average. And what we were looking for was a push above this 400. It ended up gapping above that level and breaking out above the resistance levels over here from back in January, and it's just been on a parabolic move. The first support level on a pullback would be this EMA4 way down here at 505. Now in after hours trading, it's at 929, so that's going to be another gap up open. This is hitting new all-time high levels. If you look here on the weekly chart, check out the huge volume this week. Giant volume behind the move. What you want to see is a weekly close above this white candle here. So this is the May high close. You don't want to see it pull back and close below 675. You know, at 9 something, it should be able to stay above that level unless there's a big sell-off tomorrow and it pulls back down. You know, if it can close above the 675 zone and turn it into support, that should signal that it wants to break out higher. It's a huge flagpole here. Many times when the flagpole forms, the candles will work back into the bands. If you see it drop below 675, that'll be your signal that it's pulling back. The downside risk is EMA4 is way down here at 410. Okay, if you look at NBEV here on the monthly chart, you can see this is the complete history of the trading of the stock. It started trading back here in 2014. What you want to see on the monthly chart is a monthly close above this 2017 high close. That's right around 575. A monthly close above that level would be really bullish. It's busting through the upper Bollinger Band right now. See, check out this huge white candle. You know, it's at high of day or high of month, and then you have a 929 after hours. I mean, this is incredible volume. I mean, 321 million shares, giant volume this month, insane move. Yeah, on a pullback, you want to see that 575 level hold. If you look at the 15-minute chart here on NBEV, we were looking for a break above this high close at 1230. It broke down intraday, and it held that middle Bollinger Band. It has to break the middle Bollinger Band for it to signal that the chart's breaking down. As long as that's holding, the bulls are still in control. So it's hard to get super bearish if you're trying to short this rally when the middle Bollinger Band's holding. Once that breaks, you could get a drop down to that 50 simple moving average. That would be the pullback. That would be the key level to hold on once it does consolidate. Now this candle right here broke out above resistance at 315. That signaled more upside potential. That was signaling, okay, the bulls are still in control. Then it closed strong, and then you had the big gap up open. NBEV is being promoted right now. It does have 4 newsletters out. Blue Horseshoe Stocks is promoting them. Yeah, if you go to the stockpromoters.com, you can find stocks that are being promoted. You know, companies pay for promotions. You can see here, this is the top promoted penny stocks right now, and you've got NBEV, TLRY, NEPT, ACBFF. You've got quite a few marijuana companies on here. And so, yeah, MCOA made the list now. And so, yeah, CANB is on the list. A lot of the marijuana stocks are on the list now. And so, yeah, they can pump them up, but that just means at some point they're going to dump, because most of the time, I mean, the reason why you have stock promotion is because you want to sell shares. And, yeah, so let's look at the implied volatility here for NBEV. Okay, you can see the historic volatility is way down here. It historically has high volatility here, around 100. It would be a high spike. Down here around 74 would be low. And check it out right now. You're looking at 336. All right, this is for the historical 30-day IV, and so that's super high. All right, so yeah, there's it's an incredible move. Look down here at the parabolic move. This is the 1-year stock price. You could see this. This is an Eiffel Tower pattern. It's unsustainable. Nothing can go straight up like this for an extended period of time, but it has been an incredible run. So congrats everyone. Okay, yeah, just don't get caught holding that bag. Whoever buys at the top, it's always, you know, you don't want to be that person. Okay, let's look at Canopy Growth here. And so Canopy Growth closed right at the key level. Okay, so we've been looking for a close above the closing price here at on the first trading day of September, and yeah, that level is the level it closed right at today. Notice that's the computer algorithms. You know, this is the you know, the machines are in control, and so it needs to bust above 52.40. If it can bust above that level, 56 is going to be the next target. We're going to look for this open up here to be tested, and then you've got the all-time high up here just below 57. Those are the targets. Now to the downside, as long as it's holding the middle Bollinger Band right now at 48.36, the uptrend's intact. Once they let that level break and turn into resistance, that's when you're going to see downside risk. That almost happened right here, but it held and it kept pushing higher. And so it's coming to a flex point here. It's either going to break through resistance and head higher and take it to the next level, or it's going to drop through support and possibly come down to the lower Bollinger Band. So you're looking for, as a bull, a break above 56. If it drops below 48, you could see a drop down to 41. Okay, let's look at Cronus Group here. This is the chart we've been working on. There's a lot of annotations and stuff on here. Another nice day. The thing with CGC, and you notice that you have RSI at 62. It has room to run on RSI. Look at RSI over here. I mean, it on big runs, it stays above 70. So RSI is still in the bull zone here. If it can get above 70 and stay above that level, it could break out to the next level. Now if it dropped below 50, that would be your big red flag that it's cooling down. Same thing with Cronus Group here. It's not above 70. There's still juice in the tank. There's still room to run. I mean, look back here. It ran up above 90 before. I mean, this run it ran up, you know, up near 90. And so now it has to get back above 70, push back into that power zone. It will be, you know, if it drops below 50, that would be a red flag. It broke out today. And so right now it's at 1360, and after hours trading, it did pull back a little bit. It's hitting the upper Bollinger Band at 1381. It needs to stay above 13 right now. If it can hold 13, it could keep pushing higher. And then what you're looking for is to break this 15 to 1550 resistance zone, the all-time high. That's what it needs to do to take it to the next level. You could see here it's you know, has huge volume behind the move. 130 million shares traded yesterday, and so we're going to see if it's going to take it to the next level. If you see it drop below 13, that's going to be your signal. Okay, it's cooling down, and then you don't want to see it trading at 1250 or lower. That would signal consolidation. Okay, let's look at ACBFF. Nice breakout today. Check out this monthly chart here. It's at 70 on RSI. You can see it's been up to 90 before. You know, it's at 73 on Fasto. It has room to run. You've got plus DI starting to uptick here on ADX. Check out the big volume. This is the largest volume month in the history of the stock. So right now it's hitting the key level, this 950 resistance zone. That's the January high close. You want to see a monthly close above that level. If it can close above that level for the month, that should signal it wants to head higher. Now keep in mind, this month's candle will not set until the closing bell on the last trading day of the month. Now if it breaks above 950, what we're looking for is a run up to the all-time high, which is up here around 1250. Okay, take a look at IGC here. Okay, so IGC, I'm going to show you the daily chart first. Yeah, so it's making a nice move as well. Closed up 27%. Notice RSI is now back above 70. Once it gets above 70, it has to stay above that level. If it dropped back below, that would signal it's cooling down. It closed at high of day. That created a 100 spike on Fasto. You've got the bullish crossover here in ADX. The green line needs to stay above the black line. This is showing that the bulls are in control. The red flag now is the gap between Tuesday and Wednesday. There's an unfilled gap. A drop down to 145 would fill that level. What you want to see now is this $2 205 level hold. 205. That was the closing price back here on August 29th. That's the high close level. As long as it can stay above 205, it should keep pushing higher. If it drops below 205 and starts trading below that level, that's where you could see some consolidation and see that EMA 4 at 171 tested. If you look here at the IGC monthly chart, you can see here it's up 30% for the month. Yeah, it's pushing hard. You have 100 on Fasto and 76 on RSI. What you want to see for this month is a close above the gold line. That's the 100-month moving average currently at 187. If it can stay above 187 and close above that for the month, it should keep pushing higher. You can see it has an uptrending channel. It had this long downtrend that reversed in 2016. It's been heading higher. Right now, it's busting through the top of the channel, so it has to stay above that level, which is lined up with the 100-week moving or 100-month moving average. And if it could stay above those levels, it could keep working higher and possibly test these levels above, maybe making a run back up to $5, that 2012 monthly high close. If it dropped below that 187, it could work back into that channel and test EMA4 down there at 143. Okay, take a look at MJ here. This is the marijuana ETF. Yeah, it's cruising. It had huge volume. Notice the big volume in the marijuana sector yesterday. So there's big volume. Many times that's the climax. You see that at the top, and yeah, it's pushed higher. What has happened is, notice there's a lower high here, and so there's a high and then a lower high during an upturn. There's a high, higher high, higher high, higher high, and then now a lower high. That creates swing point number 3. This is swing point 1, swing point 2, swing point number 3. You know, many times when this pattern happens during an uptrend, you get a pullback, and so you have to be on the lookout for the candles working back into the bands. The level to hold right now is EMA4 at 40.68. If that were to break, you could see a drop down to 38. Take a look at HMLSF. This is the Horizons Marijuana Life Science ETF. It's back above 70 on RSI and Fasto. It's getting a downtick on Plus DI. You can see the bearish crossover there. Today's candle did bust through that upper Bollinger Band. Notice they had the pullback yesterday with the huge volume, and then boom, they pushed it higher today. It looks like they pulled it back and people loaded. Now they're pushing higher. It's all about 19 right now. If it could stay above 19, it can keep this strong uptrend going. If it breaks below 19, it could start consolidating. The last time it had a big consolidation, it dropped back down to that middle Bollinger Band, which is currently at 17. Okay, take a look at NXTTF here. Okay, so it's filling the jar. RSI at 67. It still has room to run. Still has room to run on Fasto. There was a high from back here in 2017, the high close, which is right around $3, and that's the level that it's working its way back to right now. What you want to see is a close above this closing price on September 11th. If it can break above that level, that should signal that it wants to come up here and test this high close. And then if you notice down here, it's got really big volume behind the move. This should be able to bust through resistance with the whole sector hot, you know, super smoking right now. If it did pull back, you would know that it's cooling down. If this EMA 13 broke at 223, if that happens, it could come down to $2 and test that middle Bollinger Band. If you look here at the weekly chart for NXTTF, you can see this is the entire history of the stock. It started trading back in 2014. It came down here. You know, you could have got this thing for 2 cents. And that would have been a dream, right? In 2015, it's been pretty much an uptrend ever since then. And right now, it's at that key level. It's all about this 250 to 260 resistance zone. You can see back here in 2017, that was the high close in the weekly chart. It's right at that level now. A weekly close above that level would be very bullish. That should signal more upside potential. This week's candle will not set until the closing bell on Friday. Notice the big multi-week run here. As long as EMA4 at 213 is holding, the signal is just to keep riding. This is a this is a longer term swing trade. When you have a really healthy weekly chart like this, you never know how high they're going to take it. I mean, look back here. It was trading, down here around 15 cents, and they ran it all the way up to 350. So yeah, that's where we're looking for this to head here, is back up to those all-time highs if it can bust through this resistance zone. Okay, take a look at GRNH here, currently up 18%. Yeah, I went through in the chat and I posted a bunch of United States marijuana sector charts that were heating up end of day today. So if you'd like to check those out, come check out the chat. You can come check out for a free trial. People are having some good success right now in the chat, so I recommend come checking that out. 50 to 70 in the bull zone here, bullish crossover. So it closed above the 50-day simple moving average, the middle Bollinger Band, and the 100-day simple moving average. If it can stay above 0.0329, we're looking for a run up to 388, possibly up to 4 cents, and test that 300-day simple moving average. All right, thanks for viewing this video. Please come check out the chat. Send me an invite, or let me know that you got there with a direct message, and welcome. Okay.